What if the very herbs you brush past while tending your vegetable beds on a misty spring morning hold the quiet power to keep your mind crisp and clear through the longest winter days? Picture yourself kneeling in the soft earth, the scent of damp soil rising up like an old friend, and realizing that one quick pinch of leaves from a plant you've grown yourself could be the nudge your memory needs. It's not some exotic import locked away in a bottle. No, these are the everyday wonders of a cottage garden, the kind that thrive under temperate skies from the rolling hills of England to the backyard patches across the American Midwest. I've watched them work their gentle magic season after season, turning ordinary mornings into moments of real clarity. Let's wander through the garden together and meet 5 unassuming allies that have sharpened minds for centuries. We'll talk real soil, real seasons, and the small wins that come from tending them with your own hands. No fuss, just the honest rhythm of growth and harvest that any home gardener can embrace. First comes rosemary, that woody evergreen with needles that catch the dew like tiny silver spears. I remember the day I tucked a cutting into a cracked terracotta pot beside my back door. It was a drizzly April afternoon in my Zone 7 plot, the kind where the air smells of rain on stone. Within weeks, it had settled in, roots gripping the well-drained mix of compost and grit I'd stirred together. Rosemary doesn't ask for much. It laughs at poor soil, shrugs off drought once established, and rewards you with that piney, invigorating aroma every time you pass by. In cooler European winters, I mulch it thick with straw and move the pot against a south-facing wall to shield it from the worst frosts. Come summer, it explodes into pale blue flowers that bees adore, bringing biodiversity right to your doorstep. You might know it best for flavoring a Sunday roast, but brush your fingers through those leaves first thing each day and breathe deep. That simple ritual has roots older than most history books. Ancient students in sun-baked Mediterranean courtyards wove it into their study garlands, trusting its scent to hold on to lessons longer. Modern gardeners like us notice the difference too. One neighbor of mine, a retired teacher in upstate New York, started her own morning rosemary touch after hearing about its reputation. She swears her grocery lists stay sharper now, no more second trips to the pantry. Grow it in full sun with companions like sage and thyme. They share the same love for dry feet and poor soil, and together they create a natural pest barrier that keeps aphids at bay without a drop of spray. Harvest sprigs year-round for teas, or simply crush a leaf between your fingers before heading inside. It's the easiest entry point for any memory garden, and watching it shrug off a late frost always feels like a small victory. From that sturdy favorite, let's shift to something a bit more delicate, yet surprisingly tough once you understand its needs. Gotu Kola creeps along like a living green carpet, its fan-shaped leaves catching light in the dappled shade of my apple tree. In Southeast Asia, it grows wild and lush, but here in temperate zones, I treat it as a cherished annual, or bring it indoors for winter on a sunny windowsill. I start seeds in early spring under a cloche, sowing them into rich, moisture-retentive soil blended with plenty of homemade compost to feed the microbes that keep roots happy. It craves consistent dampness, think boggy but not waterlogged, so I sink the pot into a tray of pebbles and water, mimicking a stream bank. Partial shade is key. Too much sun scorches those tender leaves faster than a July heat wave. What draws me to Gotu Kola isn't flash, but its steady, quiet support for focus during long garden days. Traditional healers across Asia called it a mind rejuvenator, passing stories of scholars who sipped its tea before tackling complex tasks. I've blended fresh leaves into my morning smoothie alongside garden strawberries, tasting that mild, earthy bite that somehow clears the mental fog after a restless night. In European climates, it pairs beautifully with mint in a moist corner bed, where their roots mingle and the combo draws in hoverflies that hunt garden pests. One summer, I experimented with companion planting it near my lettuce rows. The shade from taller greens kept it thriving, while the Gotu Kola's low growth suppressed weeds naturally. Common mistake? Letting the soil dry out even once. I learned that the hard way when a patch wilted overnight, but a quick mulch of chopped leaves revived it within days. Harvest by snipping outer leaves, leaving the center to spread. Dry some for winter tea. Steep with a slice of lemon from your windowsill tree, and you'll feel the gentle lift in clarity that makes weeding sessions fly by. Now, here's where the garden takes an unexpected turn into the realm of fungi, yet it fits right into the homesteading spirit. Lion's mane mushroom doesn't look like your typical herb. It cascades in white icicle clusters from a hardwood block, almost like a miniature frozen waterfall perched on my shaded porch. I started my first kit last autumn, drilling holes into a 5-gallon bucket filled with soaked oak sawdust and a sprinkle of bran for extra nutrition. Kept it moist with daily misting from a recycled spray bottle, and by early winter, those strange, shaggy forms emerged like something from a fairy tale. In US and European homes, it's perfect for cooler, dim spots, basements, north-facing windows, or under a covered deck, where it thrives without battling summer heat. The real story here is how this fungus supports the brain's own repair crew. Monks in misty mountain temples brewed it into broths for deeper focus during long meditations. And gardeners today can echo that by sautéing fresh clusters with garlic from the plot. I've added them to omelets made with eggs from my backyard hens, noticing how my afternoon tasks feel less scattered afterward. Soil health angle? It recycles kitchen scraps and wood chips that would otherwise head to the compost, turning waste into brain-friendly food while boosting your garden's overall cycle. Troubleshooting is simple. Too dry and it stalls, so mist religiously. Too bright and it yellows, keep it in that cool shade. Pair it with your potted herbs for a diverse porch display that attracts curiosity from neighbors and beneficial insects alike. One small win I cherish? Watching the first harvest appear after weeks of patience, then sharing a meal that feels like it came straight from the earth's own wisdom. Moving from the mysterious to the majestic, Ginkgo stands as a living testament to endurance in any landscape. Its fan-shaped leaves turn a breathtaking gold each autumn, lighting up my front border like nature's own lantern. This ancient tree has survived ice ages and city pollution alike, making it a champion for urban or suburban gardeners facing tough conditions. I planted a young male specimen. Avoid the females if you can. Their fallen fruit carries a scent best left undescribed. Into a deep bed enriched with leaf mold and a handful of bone meal for strong roots. It grows slowly at first, which tests your patience, but once settled, it handles drought, wind, and even the occasional heavy clay soil common in parts of the Midwest or Northern Europe. Prune lightly in late winter to shape it, and mulch annually with wood chips to mimic forest floor conditions that nurture soil life. Legends swirl around Ginkgo's resilience, from blast zones to temple grounds where healers brewed leaf tea for clearer thoughts. I steep a few dried leaves in hot water alongside my rosemary harvest, creating a simple infusion that warms the hands and sharpens the day. In companion planting, it shelters understory herbs like Gotu Kola in its dappled light, creating layers of biodiversity that invite birds and bees. A common pitfall? Overwatering young trees in heavy rains. Better to let the soil breathe and add grit if drainage lags. One story from my own patch. After a brutal ice storm last February, The ginkgo stood tall while neighbors' maples suffered. Its leaves fell in a golden carpet I raked into compost, feeding next season's beds. That kind of quiet strength reminds me why we garden. Not just for food, but for the enduring spark it lends our minds. Finally, we reach Bacopa, the low-creeping charmer with succulent leaves and tiny white blooms that dot my boggy corner like scattered stars. Known in ancient traditions as a scholar's ally, it thrives where water meets earth. Perfect for the edge of a small pond or a pot set in a saucer that never dries. I propagate it easily from cuttings poked into moist compost mixed with perlite for aeration, keeping the tray topped up during dry spells. In temperate gardens, it's often grown as an annual or overwintered in a greenhouse. But its love for humidity makes it a natural beside water features or in rain gardens across the Pacific Northwest or rainy UK summers. It spreads gently, forming a living mulch that suppresses weeds and holds moisture for neighboring plants. What captivates me most is its steady build over weeks, much like the slow layering of good garden soil. Traditional users in tropical riverlands relied on it to hold vast oral histories in memory, syllable by syllable. Here, I nibble a leaf or two while harvesting beans, or blend them into a cooling herbal drink with lemon balm from the same bed. Research echoes the old ways, showing support for learning and recall that deepens with consistent use. Perfect for those of us balancing garden chores with life's details. Companion it with Gotu Kola for a moisture-loving duo that draws frogs to your pond, boosting natural pest control. Watch for slugs in damp spots. A ring of crushed eggshells usually does the trick without harming soil dwellers. My favorite small win came last season when I noticed sharper recall during seed catalog planning, all from a patch no bigger than a dinner plate. It's proof that even the tiniest garden corner can nurture big changes. Tending these 5 together weaves a memory-supporting tapestry across your plot. Start small, perhaps a windowsill rosemary and a bucket of lion's mane, then expand as confidence grows. Consistency beats grand gestures. A daily leaf or two, a mindful breath amid the foliage, adds up like steady compost building rich earth. In spring, sow and propagate while the soil warms. Summer brings harvests laced with sunshine. Autumn invites preserving leaves for teas, and winter offers quiet observation as roots rest under mulch. Adapt to your zone. Tender ones like Bacopa and Gotu Kola move indoors when frost threatens, while Rosemary and Ginkgo tough it out with protective layers. Avoid common slips like ignoring drainage or skipping the compost tea that feeds beneficial fungi in the soil. And always chat with a trusted healer if you're on medications, because nature's gifts deserve respect. The garden has this way of mirroring our inner world, doesn't it? You plant a seed, nurture the soil life beneath, and suddenly clarity blooms where fog once lingered. These herbs and that remarkable fungus aren't miracles in isolation. They thrive because of the biodiversity you foster, the rainwater you catch, the patience you offer. Try 1 or 2 this season. Brush past rosemary at dawn. Sip a Gotu Kola tea under the ginkgo's golden fall. Or marvel at lion's mane emerging like magic. Jot a few notes in a weathered notebook about how your days feel sharper, your tasks less scattered. You might just discover that the most powerful brain tonic has been growing quietly in your own backyard all along, waiting for your hands in the soil to unlock its gifts. Here's to dirt under the nails, clearer thoughts, and the simple joy of a garden that feeds both body and mind. Keep growing, friend. The best is yet to sprout.